On this episode of the What to Watch Guys, we'll tell you about a witty historical comedy, a NASA-themed drama, and a classic Netflix documentary. All that, plus our YouTube picks of the week, and a whole lot more.
Okay, guys, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the fifth most polarizing company in America?
We're not going for the number one. We're going all the way down to number 5?
To number 5, yeah.
All right, number 5.
No idea.
Let me give you a hint. Mickey Mouse.
Disney.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, they hired a few years ago a woman by the name of Latondra Newton, and she's the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Disney. Now, she made a few changes when she first got there.
Yeah, they have those nowadays.
Yeah, she's probably making $10 million a year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she did. She was making millions of dollars.
Oh.
She got rid of the 7 dwarfs because that's, not nice to the dwarf community.
Couldn't she just change it to the 7 little people?
Yeah.
Done.
I don't know.
I guess not.
She got rid of fairy godmothers.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. See, we're older. We go, what the hell's wrong with that? Yeah. And the younger people go, oh, it's not nice to.
Right.
Because it has the word fairy in it? I don't know.
Right. And she also, at the theme park, she had them, like before the fireworks, they would say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Sure. They stopped saying that. What else are they going to say?
Well, because you might not be a lady or a gentleman or a boy or a girl. I can't, apparently.
You might identify as non-binary.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
So a few years ago, Disney bought Star Wars and Lucasfilms.
Mm-hmm.
Now, George Lucas had written sort of the outlines for the next 3 Star Wars movies, and he included that in the package. What did they do? They took George Lucas's work and threw it away and wrote their own stuff because it had to be more inclusive.
Yeah, because George Lucas has no idea what he's doing, so that makes sense.
Well,
right.
I gotta say, George Lucas kind of botched, and I think there's a general consensus that he botched the Star Wars later trilogies, the second trilogy. It was just, he kind of seemed to forget his own myth, and they brought somebody else in to do it. I think they're better than the first series. The first 3 were great, but then he's kind of messed with them even. So I'm not lamenting the loss of George Lucas on the Star Wars franchise.
So what's Disney plan to do with it?
And then they did the new Indiana Jones and the Insufferable Feminist. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. Okay. Oh, yeah. I've seen the promos for that.
So I guess, Andrew, you're trying to point out that Disney has become a woke franchise.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they're trying to. Maybe they are, but they're failing at putting out successful movies.
Yeah, they've been bombing. All their movies have been bombing lately, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right now, as far as Indiana Jones, they have Indiana looking like this goofy, powerless old man. Indiana Jones, remember he beat the crap out of a Nazi on a tank?
Right.
About to go over a cliff, man.
He was badass, for sure.
Well, that's when Harrison Ford was a young man. I mean, let's face it, he is
decrepit like us now.
He's not that guy anymore.
No. I hear you. No,
but he's still Indiana Jones. And it was a great franchise. And if you're gonna, retire and put him out to pasture, I really do believe they should have given him a more graceful send. He deserves that.
Yeah. Well, I would say this on the subject. Disney is a company, and they have the right to do whatever they want in terms of content and what movies to make. But at the same time, they answer to shareholders, and this kind of woke approach is not working well for them financially. And I looked this up because you said you were going to talk about this, Andrew. Yeah. Check this out. Disney stock 2 years ago, in March of 21, was at $200 a share. It closed Friday at $88. Oh. Yeah, so, granted, the stock market's been up and down, but they've taken a huge hit because of flops. They've had so many flops in the last couple of years.
Well, Disney's not doing too well. Apparently, there's a lot of Disney merchandise for all these movies that are flopping, and it's just sitting on shelves. No one's buying.
So the question is it because they've gone woke or just because society's changed.
No, I think it's not because they've gone woke. I think it's because their movies aren't as good.
Yeah, I mean, I think
their
that's what I was
movies
gonna say.
aren't as good because they've gone woke.
Maybe at least partly, yeah.
They're losing money because of the quality of the movies. Now, I've been watching, and I still love the Star Wars franchise, but Obi-Wan Kenobi series is awful.
Is it?
It bombed.
It bombed. He's a bungling male who can't seem to get anything right, and it was just really poorly done. And it's where there's no heroism. They don't seem to believe that there's such a thing as heroism in white males anymore. They're not allowing it, and that affects the storylines.
Sure.
You can't just engineer this kind of thing into great story and have great stories. You got to let the stories go where they go.
Well, I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think
that's it.
I think you're seeing this across the board with corporations now. When the number one priority is inclusion and wokeness, you're missing the purpose of capitalism,
right.
to make
your
money.
mission begins to fail. Yeah. Your mission begins to be secondary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what happened when Kathleen Kennedy, when she took over, she said, "I'm going to be more inclusive, more inclusive, more inclusive," and that was her goal with this
above and everything else, right?
Right. It seems all these companies are forgetting who their base is,
who their audience
is. They're spending money with a company.
Well, yeah.
Right. And they're telling these people, fuck you, we're going to go somewhere else. We're going to try to appeal to other people.
Well,
we'd rather go after this 1% of the population as opposed to over 50.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just ideology overall.
Well, look at Target, look at Bud Light, look at all, it's happening all over the place.
Across the board.
It's all about where they set their priorities. So, yeah.
Go woke, go broke.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a Netflix show. It kind of put Netflix on the map. It's been on Netflix probably since they started. It's called Making a Murderer. And it's a documentary.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
And it took them I think 7 years to produce because they sort of followed a
case.
It's a case and they followed through. There's a lot. I could really spoil it, but I don't want to. But just basically, it's this guy and his nephew both get arrested for a horrific murder. And during the documentary, you're wondering, are these guys guilty or not?
Yeah.
And they're just rotten in jail. And I mean, I'll just say they made a couple appeals, and all the judges told them, nah, forget it, just stay in jail. But anyway, it's riveting.
It is riveting.
Oh my God! And think about it. I don't get into it, but I know Jay does it. The true crime drama.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
They really got into it. The fact that it's true really makes it
even creepier.
Sort of even creepier.
Yeah, and more interesting.
One of those stranger than fiction type situations.
It's kind of one of those, that's been around a while, but Andrew's just watched it and saying, if you haven't seen it, it's one of the better things on Netflix. Definitely go check it out. It's a great documentary.
Right. Making a Murderer.
Awesome. Well, a lot of folks, myself included, we love historical fiction. Jay, I know you like it.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I read a really good period piece. It was about vampires during the Anglo-Saxon era.
Really?
Called Blood of the Summoned. Great book. I hear rumors that Netflix and HBO are fighting over the rights to make a movie out of it.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I'm talking about Phil's book anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's thank
plug.
you for the
nice
plug.
how you worked that in there. Yeah.
Yeah. You just kind of slid that in there.
That's good.
Anyway,
you're gonna own
it
some.
is available. It's available on Amazon.
Of course. Well, thank you for that. The show that I'm doing is actually in its second season on Hulu, a Disney company. But it's actually a historical comedy. Now, you don't see historical comedies all that often. It's called The Great, and it's rather loosely based on the reign of Catherine the Great of Russia. And when I say loosely, the subtitle of the show's first season is An Occasionally True Story.
That's pretty good.
They actually changed it in the second season. They changed it to an almost entirely untrue story. So
that's clever. I like it.
So they're clearly not going for historical accuracy here. It's a comedy.
Did they talk about her love of horses?
Oh man,
it does get mentioned.
Oh wow,
and I'll leave it at that. Leave it at that. It is mentioned. It stars Elle Fanning as Catherine, and Nicholas Holt as her husband Peter III of Russia, who was grandson of Peter the Great, and in the show and in history actually, Peter III was overthrown by Catherine in 1762. So that part of it is true. The rest of the show focuses mainly on the royal court, especially the just insane levels of corruption and debauchery and the most ham-fisted palace intrigue you ever saw, all of which is perpetuated with, it's just silly and in a very silly highbrow kind of a way. I find it hilarious. And some of the funniest characters I've seen, like Peter, for example, is this clueless young emperor who is completely self-infatuated and just simply assumes that everyone else loves him as much as he loves himself. and in the course of the series, and Catherine is, very quickly disillusioned by her marriage and by this nitwit emperor, and she feels she's got a better way. So in the course of the series, there are various murders, bungled coup attempts, a successful coup attempt, weird pretense to reform, etc. All of this presented with this faux highbrow delivery. It's kind of like Downton Abbey meets the Marx Brothers. So it's really funny stuff. So I definitely recommend The Great on Hulu.
All right, I'm going to watch.
So that they really don't get it. So they really don't get into 17th century politics.
Oh, they do. But the politics is conducted in not the way you might expect. So you got to just watch it and see. But it's all there. It's just done in a very funny way.
Sounds great. I think I'm going to check it out.
So, guys, all right, we are of an age, the three of us, where, the space program.
Jay, why are you always bringing up our age?
I know. Well, because
you're obsessed with our age. Because, you're like the only one of the three of us who's getting old. We're all getting older, Jay.
I'm just saying, it's relative to the show I'm doing, Phil. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. We're of an age where we grew up. An integral part of our childhood was NASA in the space program, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, especially
in the 60s.
As a boy in the late 60s and early 70s, we all wanted to be Neil Armstrong. Well, I've got a show this week that I've been watching. There's three seasons so far. It's called For All Mankind, and it's on Apple TV+. It's fantastic. Really fun show. And the reason I'm doing it now is because the fourth season is in the can and it's in post now. It's supposed to be out later this year. So it's a good time to catch up on the first three seasons. Here's the thing. It's about NASA. NASA's the background, right? But it's really not. Sure. It's really a drama about the people involved. Like so many shows, like your medical.
Which makes for great shows.
It does. Like your hospital shows, your cop shows. Let's face it. If they work, it's because of the characters and the interaction between the characters. So here's the cool premise of this show, and I'm not giving away anything because it happens in the very beginning of the first season. It's like an alternate universe in that the USR secretively has a program to go to the moon, as the US does in 1969.
Kind of on a parallel track.
But they beat them. So the USR suddenly announces, by the way, we're on the moon, as the U.S. is getting ready to launch. So that's how the show starts. And then it kind of delves into the aftermath of the Soviet victory and how that interacts with, American culture and all this stuff. So,
well, that could have changed a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the show's written.
It's like a what-if history.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Phil. That's a great way to put it.
I love what-if history.
Which is why it's so interesting. And it's gotten rave reviews. It won an Emmy. It's been nominated for lots of awards. So, it's definitely worth the watch. Visually, the show's amazing, super high quality, movie quality. You're dealing with scenes where you're on the moon and,
wow.
in space and floating and all that. And they do it beautifully. It's extremely well done. Lots of twists and turns in the plot. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, catch up now because the 4th season is coming out in a couple months. It's called For All Mankind on Apple TV+.
Awesome. Well, it's time for that portion of our show where we give you some recommendations for great stuff you can find on YouTube. So let's get started with our YouTube picks of the week. I'll start off. And, nostalgia just isn't what it used to be. You know what I mean? In our day, we knew how to do nostalgia. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, though, if you like to look back fondly on the kind of silliness of the past, one great channel to check out is on YouTube. It's called Do You Remember? And I get a kick out of this one. It's not really high production value stuff, but it's fun. Stuff like there's top 10 lists that are pretty funny. And it's like the top 10 cheesiest one-hit wonders.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
And we know some of the top 10 songs of the 60s that you forgot were awesome. But there's also a bunch of fun shorts about stuff like, you remember the cootie catcher? That little folded up piece of paper that you used to
do this thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or the old phonographs or classic lunch boxes,
Showing our age again, bro.
Your Brady Bunch. There you go again. With our classic lunchbox. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's just a walk down memory lane, and it's great for younger folks as a lesson on why their parents are just such flakes. Anyway, it's called Do You Remember? On YouTube.
Recently, I've sort of had a epiphany where I have politically sort of started leaning to the right more.
Kind of a realignment for you.
Realignment, yeah, just say. But anyway, one of the shows I've been watching, which is more from a Republican base, is a young lady who's just wonderful. Her name is Brett Cooper, and the show is The Comment Section.
Oh, yeah, I love Brett Cooper.
And she's funny. She's just she's really energetic. I don't know if she drinks a lot of espresso, but she might want to try some decaf. No, but I think she's wonderful. I'm at the point in my life where I see a girl like that and I go, God, I wish she was my daughter.
Yeah.
But she did a great show a few days ago, and what she talked about were how there's a lot of women in their 30s that are looking to get married, to meet men. They're going, all the men that I meet that are gentlemanly, that open the car door, that pay for the first meal, that have plans for their life, they want to get married and have a family. She goes, all those guys, they're all Republicans.
I don't know if that's
because I can't find a guy. No, that's what I'm saying. They're talking about a lot of these women are saying, all the manly guys, all the guys that I want, men's going to sort of take charge and be a man. They're all Republicans. All the Democrat guys are like, you told me not to open your door.
Yeah.
So the conservatives got game.
Yeah, split the check. And,
apparently. But anyway.
Interesting.
But she talks about a lot of different subjects, and she can get pretty serious, but also she can be kind of lighthearted. But she's just delightful. I think she's wonderful. I watch her every day. It's Brett Cooper, The Comment Section. Check it out on YouTube.
My channel is called Inventor 101. And this is one many of you have probably stumbled across, and it's a lot of fun to watch. What's interesting about it to me is these videos are short. I mean, most of them are like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and this guy shows you how to do something, but there's no dialogue, no narration. The MC or whatever you want to call him, the presenter, is never on camera. He just holds a camera and shows him doing something, and what he teaches you is little tricks like how to pick a lock when you've lost your key, or, things you can do with super glue and baking soda, that kind of stuff. But the great thing is it's like one of the wormhole channels because the videos are so short, 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. You watch one, you watch another, and you're going to, but
the Lay's potato chips of YouTube.
I don't know how he comes up with all these freaking ideas, but listen to this. This guy had 100 subscribers in January of 2019. Okay, 4 years ago. A little over 4.5 years ago. He now sports 5 million subscribers, and he's had 1.4 billion views. So the channel,
oh my God.
Yeah, right. So the channel's very popular, and
it's kind of like those Bob Ross videos where there's nothing all that special going on, but you can't stop watching it because it's like hypnotic.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm sure these are the same kind of way.
Do I really need to know how to mix super glue with sawdust and make whatever? No. But it's just like, anyway, it's called Inventor 101 on YouTube.
And he's gotten how many views?
It says 1.4 billion.
Billion. How many views have we gotten so far, guys?
8.
0.
Zero. Okay.
Well, we just launched it, so we're just getting out there.
Right. All right.
All right. Well, listen, folks, we're awfully glad that you stuck around to the end here, and we want to hear what you think. We're giving you all our views. Give us yours. So anything you want to say, your thoughts, your questions, your suggestions, write down below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out on social media, and we'll see you next time on the What to Watch, guys.